Good morning. Now, let's look into the few questions that were left yesterday in the sources of Indian Constitution. Then we'll go to salient features. Straight away, let me open the document for you. And please look at the questions. Look at this. Which one of the following is a feature common to both Indian Federation and American Federation? India is a federation, America is also a federation, but India is not a complete federation. Because of that reason only, we did not mention the word federation in the constitution. But if you look at India and America, there may be so many differences. Like, for example, in India, we have parliamentary form of government, and in America, it's the presidential form of government. But being the federations, what is the common feature? Common feature for both India and America. Look at this. Single citizenship? No. Three lists in the constitution? No. Dual judiciary is no. And a federal Supreme Court to interpret the constitution. In India, so we don't have the dual judiciary. In India, we have integrated judiciary. But whereas in America, it is a dual judiciary. But the common feature is the federal Supreme Court to interpret the constitution. So the highest court in the country has the highest power to interpret the constitution. That is the common feature between Indian Federation and American Federation. Am I clear? Now I'm going further. So as you start looking at the previous questions, you will get more ideas, right? Next. Next. Look at this. Match the list. So you got two lists here. One is the list one and second one is the list two. In list one, you can see features of the Indian Constitution. And in list two, you can see borrowed from. Where did you borrow from? Clear? Very, very important. You can have a look at this. On left side, you can see fundamental rights, parliamentary system of government, emergency provisions, DPSP. On the right side, you can see the names of the countries, and you need to match this. Right? So before I show you the answer, you can please match. I'll give you 30 seconds time. This is how you need to practice for UPSC. Have a look at this. Clearly, don't be in a hurry because you know all the things. Yesterday we discussed every point very elaborately. Right? Now, so you might have matched. See here, if you are matching correctly, that's fine. Otherwise, if you could not match correctly, now rectify yourself. I'll show you the answer now. Look at this. Seems that C is the answer. Fundamental rights, United States of America, parliamentary system of government, that is UK, emergency provisions, Germany, DPSP, as we all know. So this we got from Ireland. Is it clear? This is how you need to look at the answers. Look at this. One more question. Again, you need to, this is called comparative study of the constitutions. The Indian parliamentary system is different from British parliamentary system. Here we are trying to compare Indian system with British system. But here we need to find out the difference. India is a parliamentary form of government. British is also a parliamentary form of government. But what is the difference? Both a real and a nominal executive. That is not a difference. That is a common feature. A system of collective responsibility. I told you yesterday what is the meaning of collective responsibility, right? That is common for both. Bicameral legislature, that is also common. In fact, India adopted all these systems from UK only. D, the system of judicial review. Very, 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 very important. We know what is the meaning of the judicial review, and the concept of judicial review we borrowed from United States of America. But whereas, yeah, but whereas in UK, what happens is that, right, in the previous question we saw that there is a topmost court in the country, which is considered to be the final interpreter of the Constitution, which is considered to be the final interpreter of the Constitution. So that happens in both United States of America and also in India. But whereas in UK, there is nothing like any judicial review, meaning it is the parliament that will take the final call. That is the reason why British Parliament is considered to be the most powerful parliament in the world. It is considered to be the mother of all the parliaments, meaning the judgments that are given by the judiciary can be nullified by the so-called the parliament. Parliament is so powerful. That is the reason why in public administration we always say that in public administration British Parliament can do and undo anything. British Parliament can do and undo anything except making a man a woman and a woman a man. So that is a, statement that has been referred to the so-called British Parliament. Meaning is simple. So they can take any decision. They can take any decision. That is the reason why it is considered to be the most powerful parliament in the world. Clear? And at the higher stage, even the judiciary judgments can also be modified or nullified by the judiciary in the so-called UK. There is nothing like any judicial review. Am I clear? But what happens in India? Even after you amend the constitution by the parliament, yes, we have right to go to the judiciary, and we already saw that the concept of Supreme Court collegium has been replaced by National Judicial Appointments Commission. But what happened to NJAC? NJAC has been nullified. All right. Next. Okay, please remember this. System of judicial review is present in India, but not in British parliamentary system. Okay. Again, I'm going further. Similar type of question. Match list 1 with list 2. So hopefully you can match it easily now. You may please have a look at that. Please match correctly. Okay. Finished. Now, the answer is B. Yes. Please check out whether your answer is right or not. If it is not right, just check up where you went wrong. Okay, right. That's it. Right. So this is how. So right, this you need to attempt the questions very carefully. But for attempting the questions, you need to understand the concepts first. So hopefully, the concepts that are related to sources of the Indian Constitution are very clear to you. Meaning, so here you have learned so many words, so much of terminology you have learned. And this particular terminology is going to be helpful to you in futures. In future of our classes, maybe for reading the books or maybe reading the newspaper or understanding the TV discussions, something so that will be easy for you. Right? Next. So next topic, what we'll take up is the salient features of the Indian Constitution. What do you mean by salient features? Salient means important. So these are the important features of the Indian Constitution. Meaning there are certain characteristics in the Indian Constitution which makes our Constitution special. But kindly remember this one, Indian Constitution is a borrowed Constitution. Though it has been a borrowed one, we did not borrow as it is. We have borrowed the concept from some constitution, and we have made changes according to our needs. So to suit our needs, we modified that. Then we have inserted the same into our constitution. Clear? Very, very important. And out of this, let's try to understand what are the special features of our the so-called Indian Constitution. Am I clear? Now, just a moment. I'll open the document for you. Right. So now we can see the document. Right? Yes. Now, look at this. Salient features of the Indian Constitution. The 42nd Amendment, which took place in the year 1976, is known as mini constitution. Yesterday we understood this point. It is because of the large number of changes it made in the constitution. So this is the 42nd Amendment. Okay, and now leave it. But kindly remember, you have to remember all these underlined ones. 42nd Amendment, when it took place, and what is the this nickname for that. So right, when I say mini constitution, I am not praising that. So we are criticizing. Why? We'll try to understand in our future classes. Right. Next. In the year 1973, in Keshwananda Bharati case, for a time being, please remember the name and the year. These things we are going to discuss when we speak about the basic features of the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. In the year 1973, in Keshwananda Bharati case, the Supreme Court ruled that the constituent power of the Parliament, the Supreme Court ruled that the constituent power of the Parliament under Article 368 does not enable it to alter the basic structure of the Constitution. Just remember this, very, very important. I'll tell you a few points. Listen carefully. Here you have come across with a concept called basic structure. You might have heard this word previously also, but let me tell you. So this is the something called basic structure of the Indian Constitution. What is this basic structure of Indian Constitution is not mentioned in the Constitution. We don't know what is the basic structure. But after we started our journey in the year 1950, as the days are passing on, so the conflict between the executive and judiciary, parliament and judiciary, that is increasing. Meaning, since beginning, parliament is taking the side of the DPSP for promoting more welfare to the peoples. But whereas the judiciary is taking the side of the fundamental rights, judiciary never says that government should not act. No, government should act for the welfare of the people. There is no problem. But whatever the decisions that are taken by the government should not infringe into my fundamental rights, should not violate my fundamental rights. Hence, wherever, whenever the concept of fundamental rights will come to the picture, the judiciary will come into the pictures. Am I clear? Very, very, very important. On this particular area, since beginning, there is a difference between, so this is judiciary and executive on one side, judiciary and a parliament on the other side. Am I clear? That is the reason why initially various judgments have come into picture. I'll tell you when I speak exclusively on uh, basic structure of the constitution. But here I want you to understand is that for the first time in the year 1973, in Keshwanand Bharati case, the Supreme Court ruled that Parliament has the power to amend the constitution, but you cannot deviate or violate the basic structure of the constitution. Clear? But what is basic structure? If you look at the basic structure, what is basic structure is not mentioned in the constitution. But we know what is basic structure because of the various judgments of the Supreme Court. That is the reason why our democracy, our secular system, right? Free elections, independent judiciary, judicial review, these will all be considered to be the part of the basic structure. And all these were not given by the judiciary in one judgment, but in various judgments, the judiciary has said that this is a part of the basic structure. Meaning is simple, the government has to be very careful whenever you are amending the constitution, whenever you are making a law, see that whatever is present in the basic structure should not be infringed. Am I clear? That's the reason why Supreme Court takes the side of the people with respect to protecting the fundamental rights. Government, on the other hand, because it has the functions under the constitution, it will always try to implement the concept of the directive principles of a state policy. But they are, whenever they are implementing DPSP, they should take every care that our fundamental rights should not be violated. Am I clear? This is the basic idea. Right? Next. Hope you are getting this. Anyway, very elaborately I'll discuss with you later. Look at this. Indian constitution is a written constitution and the lengthiest constitution. Look at this, please. Indian constitution is a written constitution and the lengthiest written constitution in the world. Right. So now listen carefully. So we have two concepts here: written constitution, unwritten constitution. Written constitution and unwritten constitution. What do you mean by this? We understood in the initial classes that we have a procedure for amending the constitution. And how you amend the constitution, you know the complete procedures. But where is this procedure mentioned? That procedure is mentioned under article number 368. Am I clear? I told you this yesterday. You have to remember this article. So the amendment procedure of the constitution is mentioned under article 368 means sorry sorry amendment procedure of the constitution is mentioned within the constitution. Am I clear? For almost all the countries in the world, all the constitutions in the world, the amendment procedure is mentioned within the constitution. If the amendment procedure is mentioned within the constitution, then that constitution is called a written constitution, and our constitution is the written constitution because of article 368, which is mentioned within the constitution. Am I clear? That is called the written constitution. Example, India, America, so many examples are there. But on the other side, when you say unwritten constitution, example, UK, they don't have any in UK constitution, it is not mentioned very clearly that how exactly you will amend the constitution. For example, see here in India, so we amend the constitution with a special majority by following the so many procedures, right? But whereas in UK, there is nothing like any procedure that is mentioned. Nothing like any procedure mentioned. Hence, there is no difference between ordinary bill and constitutional amendment bill in UK. But whereas we show the difference between ordinary bill and constitution amendment bill. In UK, they go by the traditions. In UK, they go by the precedents. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important. You need to follow this. Hope you are getting me. Very important ones. So, Indian constitution is a written constitution because of the reason what I said. Am I clear? And at the same time, it is the lengthiest written constitution in the world, means the size is very huge. The size is very huge because we have borrowed our constitution from various sources, and we try to explain each and every concept in a very, very clear and elaborate manner. Tomorrow I'll show you some examples. You will see we already saw that. So in the original constitution, there were 395 articles. In the original constitution, there were 395 articles, but over a period of time, the number has been increased to 450 or more than 450. Is it okay? So meaning is simple. When I have 395 articles, it is not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. Almost under every article, clauses and subclauses have been included. That is the reason why we will see Article 1, Clause 1, Subclause A, Subclause B. Like this, we will be looking at. You need not remember everywhere. You need not remember all these numbers, but you need to remember certain things which are important for the examination point of view. I'll tell you those, and I want you to remember that. Is that okay? So more than remembering the articles here, you need to remember the concepts. That is very, very important for the examination point of view. Am I clear? Next. Look at this. Originally, there was a preamble, 395 articles, 22 parts, and 8 schedules. Please remember this. When we started our journey on January 26, 1950, this was the number. There was a preamble, and number of articles were 395. How many parts were there? I'll tell you. I'll tell you tomorrow what is the meaning of the part. 22 parts were there and 8 schedules were there. Right? But in today's Constitution of India, it contains a preamble, more than 450 articles, 25 parts, and 12 schedules. Important. 25 parts and 12 schedules. Am I clear? Next, let's go ahead. Look at this. So there is a single constitution for the entire country except Jammu and Kashmir. Important one. So we have single citizenship except Jammu and Kashmir. We have a single constitution for the entire country except for Jammu and Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir was integrated into the Union of India under certain difficult circumstances. During that time, it was a request that was made by the so-called Maharaja Hari Singh. And because Jammu and Kashmir was invaded by Pakistani forces, Maharaja Hari Singh came to the, this came to New Delhi and requested the Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, so to support them. So during that time, an agreement has been taken place, and that is called the Instrument of Accession. Clear under this one, Jammu and Kashmir became integral part of India with certain conditions. The conditions are that Jammu and Kashmir should be provided with a special status. Jammu and Kashmir should be provided with a special status. That is the reason why we have an article called Article 370. That article is exclusively for Jammu and Kashmir. And that article also permitted Jammu and Kashmir to make its own constitution. Am I clear? And that facility is available only for Jammu and Kashmir and not for any other state in the country. Clear? So under that constitution, so they can have a separate constitution. They can have a separate, citizenship. Like the certain special provisions have been provided to them. Very, very, very important. And we'll discuss about Jammu and Kashmir later separately. But let me stick to this particular point. We are talking about the salient features, right? For entire India, very, very large nation, and we call it a federation. If India is a true federation, listen carefully. If India is a true federation, there should be two constitutions, like United States of America. One is the constitution for the whole nation, and second one is the constitution for each state. Whereas in India, I don't have constitution for each state. Clear? I have only one constitution, that is the Constitution of India. That is the reason why every citizen is governed under a single constitution, whether you are living in Arunachal Pradesh or Kerala. Clear? Whether somebody is living in this Rajasthan or Tamil Nadu, that's everybody will be coming under single constitution except Jammu and Kashmir. So the people of Jammu and Kashmir are governed by two constitutions. One is the Indian Constitution. Second one is the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir. Am I clear? Next one. Look at this. Right? Next point. You can read, please. Indian Constitution is both rigid and flexible. Both rigid and flexible. What do you mean by this? First, you look at the word both very clearly. That is important for me as far as Indian Constitution is concerned. Indian Constitution is both, BOTH, both rigid and flexible. Okay. Now, now let me tell you what exactly is this. Please listen to me very carefully once again. So this is one place where so many people will get, this confused. And I don't want you to get confused under any circumstances because I'm going to explain you in a very, very clear manner. You will be understanding now. What is it you are saying? Indian Constitution is both, right? Rigid and flexible. Okay? Now, forget about this. Let's understand one thing. If you look at any constitution in the world, those constitutions are divided into two categories. One is the rigid constitution, and the second one is a flexible constitution. Rigid constitution is that constitution which can be amended only with the special majority. If you have a constitution and if you are amending that constitution only with a special majority, then that constitution is called rigid constitution. Example, United States of America. Right? Example I'm telling you. Meaning, United States of America's constitution is the most rigid constitution in the world because that will be amended with the special majority. Now you must be getting it out. Our constitution is also amended with a special majority, but special majority for us and special majority for them is different in number. What is our special majority? Two-thirds, right? We understood this. So our special majority is two-thirds. Is that clear? But when it comes to America, American constitution can be amended with a special majority of not less than three-fourth of the members. Which is greater? Is it two-thirds or three-fourth? Obviously three-fourth. Meaning, if you want to amend the Constitution of America, that should be passed by three-fourth of the majority, which is really very difficult task. That is the reason why, if you look at the history of America, American Constitution, it has a long history, much older than Indian Constitution. But yesterday in previous class, I was telling you, Indian Constitution has been amended nearly for 100 times. It is going to become 100th one. Right, 100 times it has been amended. But whereas in America, it's a long history, it has been amended only for 27 times. What is our age and what is America's age? We already touched 100, and there are just 27 times they have amended the Constitution. So that shows the rigidity on the part of the amendment of the Constitution. Hope you are getting this. Understand very clearly. I'm just giving you some time to comprehend the things. Indian constitution is rigid because we are amending with the two-thirds majority. Clear? But there is a difference between the rigidity at India and America. American constitution is the most rigid constitution, but whereas here we have two-thirds majority. Clear? Number one. Indian constitution is both rigid. Why it is rigid, we understood. Okay? And when it comes to the other side, flexible constitution is that constitution that can be amended with the simple majority. Amending changes are taking place. But is this amendment happening with the special majority or simple majority? If it is happening only with the special majority, then that constitution is called rigid constitution. If it is happening with a simple majority, this constitution is called a flexible constitution. The most rigid American constitution, the most flexible UK. Just now I told you, in UK, there is no difference between ordinary bills and amendment bills. In India, we have a difference. But whereas in UK, there is no difference. Every bill will be passed only with the simple majority. That is the reason why in UK they go more by precedents. It's very easy to amend the constitution in UK. Am I clear? But when it comes to India, we are saying it is both rigid and flexible. Majority of the areas in the Indian constitution can be amended only with the special majority. Only with the special majority. But there are some areas where constitution can be amended with the simple majority. Hope you are getting me very clear. You should be very clear at this stage itself. Indian constitution is rigid to the possible, to the maximum extent. But there are some areas which can be amended with a simple majority. Hence, I'll say we are both rigid and also flexible. Is it clear? Very, very, very important. Right? Did you understand this? Why it is rigid and why it is flexible? That's it. And when we come to most probably, you know, when we start part one of the Constitution, there I will repeat these words once again, because on day number one, when we start the part one, so we are going to touch a concept where we are going to amend the Constitution with a simple majority, and for that area, special majority is not a requirement. Am I clear? Let's go ahead. Okay, you are learning the conceptual part, and when it comes to application, so we'll see once we start part 1 to 3, so we can see the application part. So clear. So Indian Constitution is both rigid and flexible. Look at this. Okay, next, another one. As you already know, it is a federal system, that is the division of powers between central government and state governments, but it has also the unitary features. India is a federal system with unitary features, especially when there is national emergency or state emergency or financial emergency. The central government will become more powerful. Under normal circumstances, we are federation. Under difficult circumstances, India will become unitary in nature. Am I clear? Right? Next. Yesterday we understood parliamentary form of government. The same thing. You can just read if you want. This form talks about the presence of nominal. Nominal means de jure, and real, de facto executives. Okay. So I understood that there is a presence of nominal executive and also a real executive. Majority parties is a ruling party. Right? Yesterday I told you any party which gets a majority in the Lok Sabha will form the government. Collective responsibility to the Lok Sabha. Again, I told you this one. Collective responsibility to the Lok Sabha means if a party gets a majority, it can form the government. And it can continue in the government as long as you enjoy that majority. The moment the party loses the majority, the moment the party loses the majority, Prime Minister will resign, and that is considered to be the resignation of the entire Council of Ministers. Kindly remember one very, very important point. If the Prime Minister resigns or if the Prime Minister dies, then entire Council of Ministers will be dissolved. I am not saying Lok Sabha will be dissolved. No, it may not happen. But first, the Council of Ministers will be, dissolved, and later the President will take the decision for forming another government. Kindly remember, I am talking about the dissolution of the Council of Ministers, meaning there will be no ministers at that particular time. Clear? What happens during that time? So we'll have a discussion when I speak to you regarding, this Prime Minister. Next. Next, look at this. Fundamental rights, as you know, these are, this moment. Yeah, please have a look at this. It is a majority party rule, collective responsibility to the Lok Sabha, leadership of the Prime Minister at the central level, leadership of the Chief Minister at the state level. Because India is a parliamentary form of government, both at the central level and also at the state level. Okay, and we will conduct periodical elections, meaning Lok Sabha will be dissolved every 5 years. Clear? In the similar manner, we have assembly at the state level. That assembly is also dissolved at every 5 years. Right? Next. Next is fundamental rights. These are basically meant for the promotion of the political democracy. These are justiciable, meaning they are enforceable by the courts for their violations. That's the reason why we are going to understand this when we discuss fundamental rights. So, under this, what is going to happen? Meaning, my fundamental rights must be protected at every time. Right? I have the right to speech, I have the right to expression, right to religion. Constitution has given me so much of strength in the form of the fundamental rights. Nobody can violate my fundamental rights. If I feel that my fundamental rights have been infringed, if I feel that my fundamental rights are violated, then I will go to the judiciary and the judiciary will come to my rescue. Clear? That is the reason why we say fundamental rights are justiciable. Justiciable means I can seek justice from the judiciary. That is the meaning of this. Clear? Next. Next is the directive principles of state policy. Yesterday we saw that this we borrowed from Ireland, Irish constitution. Next, look at this. They seek to establish welfare state in India, and these are non-justiciable. Let's try to understand the difference between these two. First of all, you understand that directive principles are basically meant for establishing a welfare state, meaning the state will look towards the good of the people. That is called a welfare state. But these are non-justiciable, meaning if the government does not perform any function under the DPSP, then under the DPSP, during that time, I cannot go to the court. If I go to the court, also the court will reject my petition because it is coming under a DPSP, meaning DPSP is non-justiciable. See, for example, you'll understand this. What is the difference between justiciable and non-justiciable? So let me tell you one point. In the examination, they may ask you that what is the difference between this fundamental rights and DPSP. Please remember, fundamental rights are justiciable. If they are violated, I can go to the court. DPSP, non-justiciable, meaning if the government is not performing its function under the DPSP, I cannot go to court. If I go to court, also court will reject my petition. Why? When we come to DPSP, let's try to understand that. Clear? But I want you to remember each and every word, each and every word. Okay? Next, fundamental duties. Also, we have understood. Please read this. Fundamental duties. Right? Did you read it? Anyway, what are these fundamental rights? The entire list I'll be showing you during the discussion. And kindly remember, I have already uploaded the notes starting from beginning till fundamental duties. Okay, so you may please um, read that notes. And apart from that material, whatever the book that I have suggested you, I want you to read that book compulsorily. Very, very important. Am I clear? Next. Next, I'm going further. Secular state. Look at this. Secular state means equal respect to all the religions. Secular state means equal respect to all the religions. In fact, this is considered to be a very, very powerful force in India. India is binding together today, so that is called the unity and integrity. It's all happening because India is a secular state. So this is not the new phenomenon in India. Since quite a long period of time, this there's an integration of different religions in India, and all the religions are merged in India, and they are living very happily. So without any confrontations, whatever the confrontations that are happening now and then, they are very very minimal. Meaning that shows the highest nature of understanding capacity of the people of the nation. So meaning, so our religion is important for us, their religion is also important as for us. If somebody talks against our religion, we don't tolerate, and if somebody speaks against their religion, they will not tolerate. But once we understood this concept and mix up together, then there will be, then that is called mutual respect. As long as the mutual respect is there, the country will be nicely going ahead. That is the reason why deliberately the Constitution of India has nowhere said what is our official religion. India is a country, right, where the Constitution has not mentioned about the official religion. There is no doubt it is India is dominated by Hindus, but every religion is given equal respect. Every religion is given equal respect. For example, if you look at the Jainism, the strength of the people is very, very low, but they are given the equal respect. Right? So maybe Muslims, maybe Christians, or maybe Hindus, that does not make any difference. All the religions are given equal respect. That is called the secular state. At the same time, secularism concept is a very, very, very sensitive and a delicate concept that must be handled very, very carefully. Right? If you speak something or if you act against the concept of secularism, the person will be liable for the punishment. The person will be liable for punishment. Important. Getting it? Right. Next is the universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise. Look at this. When I say universal adult franchise means all the people in the country who are considered to be adults have the right to vote. Have the right to vote. Very, very important. For example, here on day number one, also I was telling you, maybe majority of you have voted in the previous elections. If you have voted in the previous election, definitely at the time of voting, your age was not less than 18 years. Am I right? When you have voted, your age was not less than 18 years. Right? Meaning is simple. When I say universal adult franchise, all the people who are considered to be adults are permitted to vote in the election. That is a symbol of the democracy. Clear, very, very important. In the previous class, when I was talking about historical background, I told you before commencement of the constitution, every Indian was not permitted to vote. Only 10% of the Indians were permitted to vote in the elections based on certain qualifications like wealth and education. All right. So, but the moment the constitution has come into the force, everybody has been given equal status. That is called equality before law. That is called equality before law. And finally, the so-called voting permission has been given to all the people. But the point here is that today, every adult who is not less than 18 years of age is permitted to vote. But here the point is that what was mentioned in the original constitution is important. The original constitution has mentioned the voting age as 21. So at the time, everybody who is not less than 21 years of age was permitted to vote. Later, what happened when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, the voting age was reduced from 21 to 18. Today it is 18. Originally it was 21. How do you reduce? You need to amend the constitution. Replace 21 with 18. You have to amend the constitution, and the number of amendment was 61st amendment, and it took place in the year 1989 when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India. Am I clear? Very, very important. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Please read this once. All adults are permitted to vote. Voting age has been reduced from 21 to 18 in the year 1989. What was the amendment? Amendment was 61st Amendment. 61st Amendment. Am I clear? Next. Emergency provisions. The Constitution has provided emergency provisions. How many? Three. What are they? Yesterday also I told you, national emergency, state emergency, financial emergency. Is that okay? And whenever there is a national emergency, the concept of the federation will be lost, meaning there is no division of the powers and the central government will become all the more powerful. This you will be understanding when I speak to you fundamental rights, and after a period of time, I'll talk to you with respect to the emergency provisions. Then you will understand what exactly is the meaning of this. Am I clear? Next. Next is the three-tier government. Hopefully you can see on the screen. Three-tier government. Through 73rd and 74th amendments, three-tier structure was created. Panchayati Raj and municipalities are made the constitutional bodies. In India, even before 73rd and 74th amendments, Panchayati Raj and municipalities were existing, but they were not constitutional bodies. They have been included under the constitution through 73rd and 74th amendments. 73rd amendment is basically meant for providing constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj, and 74th amendment is basically meant for providing constitutional status to the municipalities. Constitutional status to the municipalities. That is the reason why today, if you look at the constitution, schedule number 11, it mentions about the Panchayati Raj, and schedule number 12, it mentions about the municipalities. Originally, how many schedules were there? 8 schedules were there. Later, it has been increased to 12, meaning by amending the constitution, we added 4 more schedules. Out of that one, 11th schedule belongs to the so-called Panchayati Raj, and the 12th schedule belongs to the so-called municipalities. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important. You please remember. Now, what is the meaning of the three-tier government? When I say federation, federation is the division of the powers between central government and state governments. But when I talk about the Panchayati Raj and municipalities, this is called third level government at the lower level. Central government, state government, and local self-government. When I say local self-government, again, there are two categories. One is the rural, local self-government, Panchayati Raj. Second one is the urban, local self-government, municipalities. All right. So we are going to discuss very elaborately on each and every one. On each and every topic, we are going to discuss very elaborately. You don't worry. But remember the concepts, whatever I'm telling you now. Is it okay? So the more you have the strength on the fundamentals, the more easy for you to understand the subject in a better manner. Then only you can present in a better procedures. Right? Am I clear? So these are the uh, you know uh, salient features of the so-called the Indian Constitution. Now, what I'll do is that we'll start preamble now. What is a preamble? Since our childhood, we are listening to the word preamble. On December 13th, 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru has moved something called objective resolution. I told you. And the same objective resolution has been added to the Constitution of India with the little modifications, and it is called the preamble. Meaning, preamble is the modified version of the objectives resolution that was introduced by Jawaharlal Nehru, right, in the year 1946. Am I clear? But kindly remember, objectives resolution was the first to be introduced in the Constituent Assembly and last to be adopted. That's the reason why, after adopting the whole constitution, then we have adopted the preamble. That's the reason why, for some people, there is a doubt whether preamble is a part of India or not. According to the judgments of the Supreme Court, as of today, preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. Very, very important. Clear? Did you understand me now? Is preamble part of India, part of Indian Constitution? Answer is yes. Answer is yes. Okay, preamble is very much a part of the Constitution of India. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important. That has been reiterated by Supreme Court in various judgments. That is the reason why nobody should say that a preamble is not a part of the Constitution. It is very much a part of the Constitution. But let's try to understand what exactly is this? What exactly is the so-called the, excuse me. So what exactly is the meaning of the word preamble? Preamble is nothing but an introduction to the Constitution of India. What do you mean by introduction? Say, for example, you might have read so many books. Maybe you are, this class books, right? Subject books, or novels, or some other books. And if you observe majority of the books, in the beginning, there is something called foreword is mentioned. Something called foreword is mentioned. What do you mean by this foreword? This is nothing but the it's a gist that is given by the author. The book may be very large, 400 pages, 500 pages, or 200 pages. That's a different thing. I'm not talking about that. The whole concept of this book will be reduced to a very small area, and he will try to present himself, he or she. The other will try to present himself. Meaning, by reading that forward, I can understand that what exactly other wants to express. What exactly other wants to express, that I can understand. Meaning, I need not read the entire book, and if I understand this particular forward, then I can purchase the book and I can start reading the book. Am I clear? Very, very, very important. Right? Now, in the similar manner, the preamble is also considered to be forward or pretext or introduction to the Constitution of India. Constitution is so large, but in order to understand the whole largeness, I need to understand the preamble. That's the reason why the Constitution begins with the preamble, not ends with the preamble. How long? What is the length of this preamble? It is very small, but at the same time, the very, very, very powerful one. So now I will start discussing about the Preamble, again you will be coming across with a few words, and understanding each and every word very carefully is very very important for the examination point of view. Whatever I am going to speak to you now, if you are able to understand that, take it for granted, your paper number 4 preparation is also over. Your whole ethics, whatever you are going to talk later, that will be covered here. Meaning you need to have these fundamentals that are present in the preamble of the constitution. Today the corruptions are happening, so various crimes are happening in the society. This is because of the lack of basic understanding of the people, so regarding the fundamentals that are present in the preamble. That's the reason why I am the first person, rather one of the very very few persons in the country to demand that constitution must be introduced at the early stages of the education, and the constitution should be part at every class till you finish your this PG, and it should be made a compulsory subject. Then what will happen? Automatically the ethical values will be developed. Clear? Right, it is not just reading something and living it. We are not just reading for the examination point of view, but will also be reading for a little or greater transformation within us. The moment you imbibe each and everything within your blood, within your every cell, then take it for granted you are through this examination. Meaning is simple. Tomorrow, whatever you are writing in the examination, that should come from within, that should flow out. Clear? That should not be artificial. And you will be getting the natural flow once you understand the basic principles, whatever I am going to talk to you now. Am I clear? Just let me tell you one example. Let me just tell you one example. So many times you will hear that some politician or some government officer is pro Hindu, or you will say that particular officer is pro Islam, that is Muslims, or so and so officer is pro a particular caste. Obviously, it is really painful for us. Officer who is sitting over there, he or she must look at all the people equally, irrespective of the religion, caste, creed, sex, place of birth. You have to serve every person equally. You have to serve every person equally. Is that okay? For example, we are going to understand a concept called secular. So imagine a situation, you are going to become IAS officer and you became collector over a period of time, or some other officer, you became municipal commissioner, anyone. A person will come to you with a petition. Do you try to solve his problem, or do you ask his religion? Do you ask his caste? Only when if the person belongs to your religion, if you want to work for him, if you want to serve his needs, then you are wrong. Because as per the provisions of the constitution, examination has been conducted, and as per the provisions of the constitution, you have been given the postings, and as per the provisions of the constitution, you need to serve the needs of every citizen, right? So in your jurisdiction. But if you start looking towards the caste, creed, sex, place of birth, or religion, obviously you are going wrong, and you are violating the principle of a secularism. Am I clear? Very very important. Today, this is clearly evident in so many cases. Certain officers are going by religion, certain officers are going by the caste or place of birth. Is it not injustice? Definitely, it is an injustice. Hope you're getting me. That's it. This is called ethics. Meaning, so we need to be working in such a way for the purpose why we have been given this particular job. We have been given this job to serve all the people equally. Don't discriminate. If you are discriminating, then ethical standards are low. Getting this? The same thing will be there even in the ethics paper. You take it for granted. The moment you understand today's class, your 250 marks preparation is also over. Of course, we'll be covering everything in a detailed manner, but take it for granted that itself is nothing but this preamble. Clear? Very, very, but that's the reason why these things will not come overnight. Take it for granted. So we'll not be getting this overnight. So there should be a attitude change. Clear? So there should be change in our thinking pattern. Clear? Always we need to think rationally and logically. What is rationality? What is logic here? Meaning is simple. The moment we start thinking, the moment we start doing within the boundaries of the constitution, that is called a rationality, that is called the logic. Is that okay? Treating all the people alike, I am there within the boundaries of the constitution. I am not taking religion into consideration. Yes, I am very much there within the boundaries of the constitution. If somebody wants to serve a particular section exclusively and he wants to neglect other sections in the society, then he is violating the principles of the constitution, then he is unethical, then he or she is unethical. Hope you are following this. Country needs the people with ethics, values and standards, not unethical people, not unethical people. Okay, now I'll open the document. Preamble. Now, please have a look at this. I want you to follow me very closely. Shall I open the document? Yes. Yes. Now, look at this. Preamble is the introduction to the Constitution of India. The preamble of the Indian Constitution is based on the objectives resolution moved by Jawaharlal Nehru in the Constituent Assembly on December 13th, 1946. Okay, this is a known point. Now, you may please have a look at this. Right. So, this is the whole preamble that you can see on the screen. Right. Whole one you can see now very clearly on the screen. You please follow me each and every word. We. So, meaning the preamble begins with we. Who are we? The people of India. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a, to establish India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Clear? So you can see 5 words there. You can count if you want: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Is that okay? And out of these 5 words, 2 words deliberately I gave in some other color. In some other color, meaning these 2 words were not a part of the original constitution. These two were not part of the original constitution, original preamble. These two were added later. Meaning is simple. The words socialist and secular were added to the preamble through 42nd Amendment. Clear? Now, let's go ahead. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens, what you want to give: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Clear? What is the justice? Social justice, economic justice, and political justice. What is the liberty? Liberty of thought, liberty of expression, liberty of belief, liberty of faith, and liberty of worship. Equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. Right? And again, in this particular line, you can see a word called integrity, which is also given in a different color, meaning that was also not mentioned in the original preamble, but it was added through 42nd amendment, meaning preamble has been amended once so far. Clear? Constitution, of course, preamble is a part of the constitution, there is no doubt. But when it comes to exclusively preamble, it has been amended one time so far. And in that amendment, we have added three words. Clear? And these three words were socialist, secular, integrity. Am I clear? And what was the amendment? Through 42nd amendment. So we have added all this. Am I clear? Next, let's go ahead. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, what is the day that you got it? 26th day of November 1949 means November 26th, 1949. Meaning, in the preamble, the date of adoption is mentioned, not the date of commencement of the Constitution. Am I clear? It was a question previously. I'll show you that question later. Right. So, in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Okay? Do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. If you look at certain words in the beginning, we, the people of India. What is the meaning? This preamble, this constitution was made by the people of India. Meaning, the Constituent Assembly has given complete credit to the people because they made the constitution for the people only. In order to give strength to the people, they deliberately mentioned we, the people of India. Look at this word, the line, second line from bottom, you can look at this. In our Constituent Assembly, in People's Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby, do hereby what? Adopt, enact, and give to ourselves. Adopt means acceptance, enact means making a law, and giving to ourselves, meaning people made this constitution for themselves. That is the basic meaning here. And give ourselves this constitution. Is that okay? When on 26th day of November 1949. Am I clear? This is very, very important. Why we have used the words we, the people of India, and what is the meaning of the last two lines I have explained you now. Now, let's go into the details of this. Okay, so hope you are getting this nicely. Now, see here, especially for the examination point of view, you need to learn preamble. Learning in the sense, not just learning one time and leave it. Learning with understanding. Okay, you have to read with understanding. So whatever the meaning I am going to tell you now, with respect to each and every word, that you please follow very carefully. Am I clear? Next one. Next topic, what I would like to say is that, especially in the main examination, in the prelims, questions are common from this area. The main examination, if the situation demands, based on the question, you please write the preamble. If you don't want to write the entire preamble also, no problem. You can just say, we, the people of India, there you can put 2 to 3 dots. And you can straight away jump to that area. So where exactly you want to mention it, a fraternity, say for example. Put 2, 3 dots, then you can write fraternity. This is how it has been explained in the Constitution. If you write like this, what is happening is that there will be a very fair impression on you with respect to that answer, and you will have an edge. That's the reason why Preamble is a very, very important concept, and you need to mention in the examination depending on the question. Okay. Now, again, look at this. I'm going further. American Constitution was the first constitution to begin with a preamble. It's a GK question. The Indian Constitution was based on the objectives resolution drafted and moved by Nehru in the Constituent Assembly. Right? This also you know. So far, preamble has been amended only once, and it happened in the year 1976 through the 42nd Amendment. And at the time, Srimati Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India. And 42nd Amendment added three new words, one, two, three: socialist, secular, integrity. Okay, and the Constitution has derived the authority from the people. Am I clear? So please remember this and just read these points. I'll join you within 30 seconds. Read the points. Okay. Yes. So now, let's go ahead with this. Look at this. Is preamble a part of the Constitution? In the brackets, I gave like this. Read very carefully. Many times there were questions from this area. Look at this. Yes. Please look at this. What are all these cases that we'll be understanding over a period of time? But for the first time, when the question has arisen, remember two things. One is that preamble was the last one to be adopted and added to the Constitution. So there were some doubts in since beginning whether it is really a part of the Constitution or not. That is the reason why various judgments have come into the picture. For the first time in the year 1960, the Supreme Court ruled that preamble is not a part of the Constitution. Preamble is not a part of the Constitution. This is what was said by the so-called Supreme Court in the year 1960, and that was Berubari case. Okay, what is the Berubari case? We'll understand slowly. Don't worry. Right, that was the beginning. But later in the year 1973, right, and followed by 1995, the so-called in the LIC of India case. So the Supreme Court made it very clear that the preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. So on this one, the latest one is the 1995, and even today also it is valid. So today, that is the reason why today, whether preamble is a part of the Constitution or not, if there is a question, answer is it is a part of the Constitution. Am I clear? Now, please have a look at this. Look at this. So, in the year 1973, as you know, in the Keshavananda Bharati case, first look at the first one, 1960, in Berubari case, the Supreme Court ruled that the preamble is not a part of the Constitution. But in 1973, Keshwananda Bharati versus the State of Kerala case, the Supreme Court rejected earlier opinion and held that preamble is a part of the Constitution. The court said that the Constitution could not be amended so as to alter the basic elements of the Constitution. Again, in the year 1995, in LIC of India versus Consumer Education and Research Center case, the Supreme Court again held that the preamble is an integral part of the Indian Constitution. Meaning, by looking at these cases, we can see very clearly that preamble is an integral part of the Indian Constitution. Now you must be getting a doubt why Supreme Court said that preamble is not a part of the Constitution in the year 1960. And again, how come the Supreme Court can say that it is a part of the Constitution? Meaning there is a variation in the judgments. The variations will happen because of the judges who are present over there. So we cannot say that the initial judge was wrong. According to his perception, according to his understanding, that judgment was suitable, and that is the reason why the ruling was given, and he said that it was not part of the Constitution. But over a period of time, what will happen? The perceptions will also change, people will also change, ideas will also change. That is the reason why the judgments will also change. So we cannot question, right? Meaning is simple, whatever is the latest ruling that given by Supreme Court, that is valid today. That is valid today, that is important. Am I clear? Meaning is simple, the judgments of the Supreme Court or the rulings of the Supreme Court will be reviewed. Clear? It need not. The Supreme Court need not itself stick to its old ruling every time. Depending on the circumstances, it can modify that. Am I clear? Now let's understand these points. Look at this. The components of the preamble. The Constitution derives the authority from the people. People of India are the source of the Constitution. Preamble declares India to be. Please, you have to know the meaning of all the 9 words that you are able to see on the screen. 9 words. Okay, what is this? Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. Okay, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. Okay, 5 words. And the preamble specifies the objectives of the Constitution. Objectives means targets. What exactly the Constitution wants to achieve? It specified 4 objectives. What are they? Please look at this. Justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. So these are the objectives. Justice must be provided, liberty, equality, and fraternity should be there. In the Indian system, these are the objectives of the Constitution. So for that reason, the government will function, and for that reason, all the institutions that are mentioned under the Constitution will also function. Now look at this. And I told you this one already. Please remember this. The date of adoption that was mentioned in the preamble is November 26th, 1949. Clear? Not January 26th, 1950. Okay? Now, let's try to understand what is the meaning of the word sovereign. Did you hear the word sovereign at any time? So many times you might have heard this since your childhood. So whenever we say sovereign, it is the complete and independent authority. Complete and independent authority. Okay? Meaning there will be no external pressures on India, there will be no internal pressures on India. The government can decide what to do for the welfare of the people. You need not. Previously, see here, before we achieved the independence, India was under the complete clutches of the so-called the British. Obviously, whatever the British has said, that happened in India. But the moment the constitution comes into force, India need not depend on any country, need not be following the directions of any country. India has its own system and India has the capacity to decide what exactly the nation needs. Is that okay? In the similar manner, even internally also, sometimes the pressure groups will be there. They will try to put the pressure on the government to achieve certain things, and the government need not listen to them until and unless they are reasonable. That's the reason why every demand of the people is not accepted by the government, because the state is sovereign. The right state is sovereign. So sorry, India is sovereign in fact. Clear? But when I say government, legislature, executive, and judiciary, legislature, executive, and judiciary, out of this, which is the sovereign authority, right? Kindly remember, India, the constitution is sovereign and the people are sovereign. Neither legislature nor executive nor judiciary are sovereign. Right? So meaning constitution is sovereign and all the three organs have been given equal powers. Right? That is the reason why they are kept side by side. That is called separation of the powers. Am I clear? Meaning is simple: independent authority of the state, independent authority of the state to take the decisions. This is absolute and supreme power. This means India has the power to legislate on any subject. We can make act on any subject. Nobody can question us. India is not subjected to the control of any external authority. No, we are completely independent. We decide what exactly we require. Right? Next, India is neither a dependency nor a dominion of any other nation but independent state. Hope you understood this. Very, very important. Whenever I say India is sovereign, meaning we are not depending on anyone, we need not listen to anyone, but we can take the decisions as per our interest. Because at the end of the day, welfare of the nation, welfare of the people, that should be given the highest priority. Am I clear? Right? For example, see here, in the interest of the nation, very recently, India conducted surgical operations, right? So we conducted surgical strikes on this POK area. So who took the decision? The government of the day has taken the decision. On whose interest? For the security of the nation, for the security of the people. They can take such decisions. Is it okay? For example, here, if you look at India, India was maintaining a restraint for quite long period of time on the name of the peace. India is a peace-loving country. There is no doubt about that. But how long? Right? So everything is getting ready on the other side of the border. So the terrorists are ready to attack India. Is it not our duty to protect ourselves? That's the reason why before they come here, go there and destroy it. Clear, India did not attack Pakistan. Kindly remember, India did not attack Pakistan. India attacked only that area from where we have the threats. That is the reason why there was a huge casualty of the terrorists. Clear? Hope you are following this one. Very, very, very important. And meaning is simple: entire world, whole world is fighting against the terrorism. But how come some country that can support the terrorism? That is the reason why the state, Indian state, took a decision and we went ahead with the surgical operations and we did it. Is it wrong? Definitely not. Definitely not. India has the authority to do this. It because India is sovereign, we are protecting ourselves. Our people are important. Is that okay? If somebody comes and says, don't do that, why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? We do it because our security is important, right? And India was listening to them not to go ahead. Yes, we did not go ahead. But did other countries solve the problem? No. When other countries not solving the problem, we need to solve on our own, and we did the same thing. That is called sovereign. Am I clear? Next. Before August 15th, 1947, India was a colony of the British Empire. Yes, we know that. From August 15th, 1947 till January 26th, 1950, India was a dominion state. India was a dominion state in the British Commonwealth of Nations. In the British Commonwealth of Nations. From January 26th, 1950, India became a sovereign nation. India became a sovereign nation, right? Republic. I told you already what is the meaning of the republic. Head of the nation is elected, head of the state is elected, hence India is a republic. India has an elected president for a fixed term. All offices in the country, including the office of the President of India, it will be open for all the citizens. There are no restrictions. The only thing is that person should be a citizen of India and he should have completed 35 years of age. That's it. That's the only qualification. With that qualification, anybody can contest in the election of the president and he can be elected. Clear? Because we have an elected president, India is considered to be a republic. Am I clear? Next. Socialist. What do you mean by this, socialist? Look at this. This word was not present in the original preamble and it was added later. The word socialism means placing means of production and distribution in the hands of the public controllers. So whenever I say socialist country, there is nothing like any private property and everything will be controlled by the so-called the government, meaning the state. Right? So, and whatever the people are supposed to do, they must do only in accordance with the rules and regulations framed by the state. Clear? That is called the socialism. Look at this in China, what exactly they are doing. Lots of things are under the control of the government only. Clear? But in India, we are following a principle called a democratic socialism. Meaning, though it is under the control of the government, the concept of distribution, though it is under the control of the government, India is following the principle of democratic socialism means we permitted for the entry of the private sector also. So that is the reason why starting from 1950 up to the year 1991, what is 1991? Economic reforms have been taken place in 1991. So starting from 1950 till the year 1991, majority of the industries are under the control of the government. Maybe telecommunication, maybe insurance, right? All these were under the control of the government for quite long period of time. But some institutions are right, and what do you call? Some sectors were even open for the so-called the private participation. That's the reason why India is considered to be a mixed economy. Mixed economy means where there is a coexistence of both public sector and private sector. That is called mixed economy. Am I clear? What is mixed economy? Coexistence of both public sector. Public sector means what? Government sector and private sector. Both put together is called mixed economy. Since beginning, India is a mixed economy. But still, we follow the concept of socialism. Majority of the things are present in the hands of the government. But the 1991 reforms have changed the face of India and we permitted the private participation in most of the areas that were reserved exclusively for the government. Am I clear? Very, very, very important. That is the reason why we follow the concept called democratic socialism. Look at this. So the word socialism means placing the means of production and distribution in the hands of the public control. Public control means government control. Socialism also means elimination of inequalities. Elimination of inequalities. How the inequalities will be eliminated? Inequalities will be eliminated only when every power is present in the hands of the government, right? Because it will be treating all the people alike. Depending on their work and contributions to the nation, the government is paying them. Is that okay? If it is being done, then elimination of the inequalities will take place. Is that okay? So, socialism also means elimination of inequalities of in income and status and standard of living. India is a democratic socialism. Hence, there is an existence of both public sector and also private sectors. And it is called mixed economy. And the socialism strives to end inequality of opportunity. Socialism strives to end inequality of opportunity. Am I clear? Next. Next one is a secular. Look at this. Secularism is a belief that rejects all forms of religious faith and worship. I told you already, equal respect for all the religions or rejecting all the forms of religious faith and worship. By removing that, everybody should be treated equally. This term was also added through 42nd Amendment. Secular means the state has no official religion. All the religions in the country have the same status and support. Through 42nd Amendment, the meaning sought to be given was Sarva Dharma Sambhava, meaning treating all religions alike or giving equal respect to all the religions. Meaning is simple. Before 42nd Amendment, there was doubt. The doubt was that whether we give equal respect to all the religions alike, or shall we reject the belief of faith and worship? Shall we reject the religious belief of faith and worship? So there was a confusion. In order to avoid that confusion, Srimati Indira Gandhi government has amended the constitution and we have added the concept called secular. We have added the word secular in the preamble. So since then, it is very, very clear to me that through secularism, we are trying to provide equal respect to all the religions. Clear, very, very important. The concept of secularism is present very much in India. The fundamental rights are talking about the right to religion. Everything is there. But some people will ask me why the word secular was deliberately mentioned in the preamble. It is because to eliminate the confusion whether we reject all forms of religious faith and belief or we provide equal respect to all the religions. Finally, we have decided let's give equal respect to all the religions. That is the reason why the word secular has been mentioned. Meaning, starting from 1976 through 42nd Amendment, the moment you have added the word secular, India, we are very, very clear, we give equal respect to all the religions. Am I clear? That is the reason why amendments are necessary, right? Next, let's go ahead. Democratic. What do you mean by democracy? Rule by the people. This envisages both a democratic form of government and a democratic society, infused with the spirit of justice, liberty, and equality, and fraternity. This is the representative democracy, meaning the people of the country elect their own representatives. Here, one person has one vote in democracy. Right. See here, when I say democracy, people are powerful. People are powerful. In a democracy, people should be permitted to take the decisions. People should be permitted to take the decisions. But the point is that are we taking the decisions, whatever is happening in the country? Your answer may be no. But indirectly, it is yes. Because if you look at the huge population, the entire population cannot come together, sit together, discuss together, and decide together. That's the reason why every country will go for a concept called elections. Through the elections, what will happen? We elect our own representatives, meaning we are electing someone, and that someone we are sending him to Lok Sabha, and someone is being sent to the state legislative assembly. Meaning the people of this country are giving our power to our elected representatives to decide something in the parliament on our behalf. That's the reason why if a member of the Lok Sabha of our constituency is speaking something in the Lok Sabha, he is not speaking for his own, but he is speaking on behalf of the people of the constituency that is being represented by him. That is the basic idea. Am I clear? Very, very, very important. For this purpose, we have got the principle called democracy. In democracy, elections do take place at periodical intervals. What are the periodical intervals? Every 5 years, we conduct elections for Lok Sabha. Every 5 years, we conduct elections for the assembly. This is called the real democracy. Clear? If only single government will continue for long period of time, that is not called a democracy. Clear? Hope you are getting this. Very, very, very important. Clear? And how many times you are voting in a single election? If it is Lok Sabha, one Lok Sabha election, one person, one vote only. If I try to vote 2 times, then that is illegal. I'm violating the principles of the constitution, and this person will be punished as per the law. Hope you are getting following good information, right? Look at this. Finish. So this is the meaning of the so-called the democracy. Next, we'll see the concept of justice. This justice means what? Here, three justice. Yesterday also I was telling you, social, economic, and political. You have to write in the same sequence in the examination because according to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, there is no meaning for political justice without social justice and economic justice. That's the reason why. So he deliberately gave the priority to social justice, followed by economic, and followed by the political. So whenever I say justice, please look at the screen. It is the harmonizing the interests between the individuals. So there should be lots of harmony that should be present between the individuals and also between the individuals and the groups. The harmony will come into the picture when only there is a justice. Is it okay? Right? But this is not just confined to legal justice. And out of these three, social justice has been given priority and predominance. What do you mean by social justice, first of all? Let's try to understand. It implies that all the people in the country are treated alike. We may belong to different religions. We might have taken birth in different places. We may belong to different sects. We may have separate titles, separate caste, something. But irrespective of that one, everybody should be treated equally. That is called the social justice. Hope you are following this one. That is the reason why there is nothing like any rich and poor. There should not be any difference between rich and poor. Clear, there should not be any difference between, right? So some this caste people, they used to feel that they are the higher category. There's nothing like an higher category or lower category when it comes to the caste, creed, sex, place of birth, or everything. Everything is kept aside. A human being should be seen as a human being. A person should be treated as a person without any insult. That is called the security of the dignity. Meaning, you need to provide security of the dignity of the individual. If the dignity is not provided, so you are suppressing the feelings of that person, and this person cannot emerge as a this better citizen for the nation. That is the reason why wherever the insults are happening, that is really very dangerous for the society. There is no human dignity. That's the reason why human dignity has to be protected. That is possible only through social justice. Am I clear? Very, very, very important. That is the reason why first recognize a human being as a human being. Recognize a person as a person, not on the basis of the religion, not on the basis of the caste, creed, sex, or place of birth. That should not come into the picture. Then only India is considered to be, a country that has achieved social justice. Now you please start thinking whether we have social justice in the country or not. Think. Sometimes, some universities, it will happen. Even in the villages will also happen. Clear? Just because I belong to a particular category, I am being insulted. If it is really happening, that's a very, very, very dangerous phenomenon. It's happening. Okay. So when it comes to economic justice, rich and poor are treated alike, and the efforts should be made to fill the gap between the two. Right? And when it comes to political justice means this is the absence of arbitrary distinction between a man and man in the political sphere, meaning provide opportunity for all the people to take part in the elections. Right? If somebody wants to contest the election, allow him. If somebody wants to vote in the election, allow him. But they should possess certain qualifications. Am I clear? Next. Next is the liberty. Look at this. Liberty, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Meaning is simple. When we say liberty, it is the absence of the interference in the individual freedom of action by the government. In individual's freedom, government is not expected to interfere. Where maybe in our thought, maybe in our expression, maybe in our belief, faith, and worship, don't interfere. That is called the liberty. Clear? Enough liberty has to be given to the people. Equality. The citizens are equal before the law and enjoy equal protection of the law of the land. There should be no discrimination between one person and the other on the grounds of the religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, in the matters related to the access to the public places and public employment. Do you agree with me? The concept of equality and social justice are related to each other. Yes, definitely yes. Now you are understanding certain points. This will be elaborated during our course of discussion. And all the citizens will enjoy equal political rights. In the economic field also, for the same ability and the same labor, salary should be same. Equal pay for equal work, that is called equality. Provide equal opportunities in the employment. Provide equal opportunities as far as the public places are concerned. Provide equal access to all the people with respect to public places. So that is the reason why the concept of equality is very, very important. Clear? Next is the fraternity. Fraternity means promotion of the brotherhood. promotion of the brotherhood. In India, so many crimes are happening against certain individuals, especially against women, because they don't realize the importance and the concept of fraternity. Meaning, basically, basically, yesterday also I was telling you, basically, we adopted a concept called single citizenship. Single citizenship. Deliberately, we have adopted single citizenship because only to mention that we are the citizens of India. Whether I am living in Hyderabad or Ahmedabad, it does not make any difference for me. Clear? Whether I'm living in Bengaluru or Bombay, it does not make any difference for me. Is that okay? Because I'm a citizen of India and I have a right to go anywhere in the country. Am I clear? Hope you are following this one. But wherever I go, wherever I am mingling with the people, so I need to promote the concept of the fraternity, meaning the brotherhood. I am a citizen of India. You are also a citizen of India. You are my brother and you are my sister. That should be the concept. That is called the fraternity. For promoting fraternity in India, for giving respect to the other individual, single citizenship concept has been taken up. Am I clear? That is the reason why fraternity and single citizenship, these are interrelated. Am I clear? Next. This means promoting brotherhood among all the citizens. Single citizenship is directed towards promoting the fraternity. The fundamental rights that are guaranteed also promote the fraternity. The DPSP of the state policy talk about the promotion of the harmony. Everywhere these concepts have been mentioned. You'll be understanding more when we start discussing on fundamental rights and DPSP, and the picture will be so clear and elaborate for you. Look at this. In UPSC, there is a question. Let's read this point. The objective of the dignity of the individual was to improve the quality of life for the individual. Kindly remember, until and unless the dignity of the individual is not protected, the quality of the life will be miserable. This was a question in the year 1997. Please look at the question. Are you reading the whole question? You need not. Just by looking at the initial line, you can understand that you are going to read preamble, right? Just no visa. And straight away jump to last but one line. What is mentioned there? In our Constituent Assembly, this dash do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So, meaning is simple. The whole preamble has been given in the question in the year 1997 in UPSC examination, and you are asked to find out what is mentioned, what should be present in the place of X. What is present? Is it the date of adoption or is it the date of commencement of the Constitution? You know the answer. Look at this. The question is like this. X stands for 26th day of January 1950. No. 26th day of November 1949. Yes, because we know that very clearly. It is the date of adoption. That's the reason why location of the dates in the Constitution, that is also important for the examination point of view. Am I clear? Look at this. Please read the question and answer yourself. So by understanding what I spoke to you till now, you should be able to answer. Of course, answer is there on the screen. Is it clear? The basic structure theory of Constitution of India implies that what? Certain features of the Constitution are so essential to that they cannot be abrogated, meaning they cannot be diverted, deviated, or eliminated. Right? That's it. Right. So today, what you are supposed to do is that you have to read, this salient features of the Constitution from textbook, either Subhash Kashyap or D.D. Basu, your wish, no problem. At the same time, you also read preamble so that the topic will be completed for you. Clear? And because of any reason from the textbook, if you are not understanding in one go, please watch this video once again. Please watch this video once again and again so you can read the book. Since we are at the beginning of the classes, you have little time now. Kindly utilize the time very effectively. Is that okay? And I wish you all the very, very best. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Good luck.